When you really break it down, ascension is change. You are changing how you see you. And in doing so, you're vibrating at a higher frequency. And from that higher frequency, you're feeling different from within you, and you're channeling through you different energies so that you can create a different reality externally from you as a result. Your frequency is dictated by your perspective and perception of you. The way you feel about you, your belief systems about you dictate your energy, and they ultimately dictate your reality. And so the process of ascension really requires changing how you see you and changing how you feel inside of you too. And we can all agree that we show up in our lives full of self-criticism, right? If you can't do things well, if you can't create the outcome that you want, that's wrong. And you're going to be hard on yourself until you can get a different outcome. And we look for things to nitpick over. We look for wrongness inside of who we are, because if we can find it, then we can fix it. And if we can fix it, we can both feel differently about who we are and avoid being rejected by other people who may see it too and reject us for it. And so we're showing up inside of a belief system where there is wrongness inside of who we are, and we want to change who we are to feel better. And so on the outside, it seems like what we're trying to do is change, and we have no problem inside of change, and therefore the change required inside of the ascension process isn't a problem and isn't scary. But the ironic part of this is that if that's how you're used to operating, then real change would be seeing yourself through a lens where you don't have to change at all, and where there is no wrongness there to be changed. Real change would be recognizing that you are in fact perfect, just the way you are. And you love all parts of you, and there is nothing to desire to change, and there is no possible way to reject you, because you see you as whole. And if that's true change, and if that's what's required to ascend, then I would argue that there is a fear of change and a fear of ascension itself, because it requires you to show up in a more loving way that is inherently threatening. Otherwise, you would already choose to do so. So that begs the question, what about unconditionally loving ourselves is so threatening? Why do we continue to feel like we have to change who we are in order to be able to do that? What do you fear would happen if you chose to love you unconditionally? And if you chose to buy into the belief system that nothing about you needs to change, and that you can feel totally and completely at peace inside of who you are right now? Do you notice any discomfort that comes up inside of that? Do you notice any resistance to the idea that that could be possible? Do you notice any part of you fighting back and saying, no, something has to change first. I don't like this about me. I don't like that about me. And I can't feel completely at ease until I change that stuff. Do you see that? That is what's ultimately showing you the path forward towards the ascension you're looking for. And I want to be really clear. I'm not saying that it is wrong to want to change who you are or aspects of your life. I'm actually saying the opposite. I'm saying that true change is realizing that wrongness doesn't really exist. It's just coming from a perspective that you're holding about who you believe you are. And it is possible to unconditionally love you and still want change. But the change is coming from a different place. It's coming from a place of want rather than a place of need. That you realize that you don't have to change in order to feel differently inside of you, but you can feel however you want inside of you now and still desire to make that change if you feel called to. If ascension requires change, and change means loving you unconditionally where you couldn't before. If that's something that you don't feel ready or willing to do yet, then that in and of itself is highlighting for you what your next step is inside of the ascension that you're looking for.